My project is seeks to scale farmers' participation in a conservation project, especially of meadowbirds. This is my research is framed within a bigger project called the Grassbird Habitats Life IP. It's an European Union funded project that wants to promote conservation of meadowbirds and especially wants to get involve everybody with a similar objective to work with an aligned vision. Overall, they hope to herd about 300 million euro of worth of efforts on conservation, which is not a small feat. Um, and most of the people leading this work are conservationists. Um, a lot of the partners are buying land to preserve, yeah, as nature area for meadowbirds. But my research comes from the assumption that that can only get us so far, and we really need to work with farmers to scale these conservation efforts. First of all, meadows are human managed landscapes. Um, and my objective is to increase the participation of farmers in this conservation program, but to benefit to their own benefit and to the benefit of nature. And overall, the final output would be policy advice and an improved intervention design. So how should you do this conservation with farmers? And this is an example of if one output has to come out of my research is this. This is a conservation program in Chile with fishermen. And there's two lines which represent a desirable in black and an undesirable program design. So do you design the program of conservation in a way that people like it or not? And then on the y-axis, you have the probability that a person or the whole population of hopefully farmers want or not to participate on your project. What you see is that if you design your program poorly, no matter how much money you throw at it, your participation will not be very high. If you design your program in a way that attracts farmers, that fulfills their hopes and expectations, then yeah, in this case of this research, with the lowest amount of financial incentive, you get twice the participation as with much more money for a poorly designed program. Um, throwing money at people is not the most efficient way. Cultural shifts, communication between partners and stakeholders are much more important, but they're hard to quantify and they're hard to turn into a clear policy that can get many actors moving together at the same time. That's the reason I oversimplified. For this, I do interviews, focus groups, a big survey with 200 to 500 farmers, and finally, feedback workshops, which is what I'm intending to use my grant for, to get farmers and conservationists and different stakeholders together to bring back the results. And actually, they can tell me, yeah, is it correct what you're thinking or not? But at the end, I want to collaborate with different partners. I'm able with my research to say, okay, if you design the program like this or like this or like this, you'll be able to convince these many farmers. And that means so much area under conservation. But okay, if you convince farmers because maybe it's too easy, this conservation program, maybe it doesn't have the impact you want in meadowbirds or in carbon on the soil, in nitrogen, in water quality, all the problems and the solutions we need to find. So together with many other researchers, about 10 researchers, the idea is to see, okay, how these potential programs of convincing farmers to conserve meadowbirds also impact everything else and hopefully choose a type of program that has the best impact for conservation with the best impact for farmers. Well, thank you very much. Just in time.